We're breaking down another dance practice today, and this time it's to TAEMIN advice. This dance practice is pretty crazy because they do have a good balance of choreo, formations, blocking, and effects, and I really like it when there's a dance practice that has a good balance of all of those, so we know that we kind of have to be on our toes as we watch through the practice. That's why I really appreciate this dance practice, so let's go and break this one down. If you guys haven't followed my Twitch, ladiesman5678, go and follow it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's go and roll it, baby. This intro is well done because they use effects in a way where it draws you in throughout the entire practice. Love to focus on TAEMIN by using effects. So with that intro, the way that it was choreographed, it was to match the musicality of the song. In this case, the way TAEMIN was singing it. So there was a lot of sharp movements to go with the those type of sounds. They were hitting more on the sharper side. So they were using this to create effects with the other dancers when TAEMIN was dancing. When TAEMIN was being highlighted, he's essentially like the activator, the one that controls the dancers to create this effect when they do the sharp movements throughout the intro. This is what draws you in right away because we don't know what to expect, right? So now that they draw us in, they're gonna go ahead and lead us in with effects and then go ahead and transition us into choreo and formations and staging like that. So it's really clever to use an intro like that to draw you in and keep your attention. So with this next upcoming part, it was a lot of choreo heavy. It was just really choreo focused while changing formations. You'll know a lot of the backup dancers are going to be doing the same thing, either expanding formations or just doing the choreo. So a lot of it is they're just doing the original choreo here. One of my favorite parts right here, they kind of like mimic a mouth with their hands with the sound of the song. Love that. All right. Before we actually move on to this part right here, I actually just want to point out one little thing from that section. That entire section is just going to be choreo focused. So a lot of the dancers, including TAEMIN, will just do the original choreo throughout the entire section with formation changes and a bit of effects. But there is one part that I actually want to point out because I think this is kind of underrated. And so what we like to call this, or at least for dancers, we call it polyrhythm. And polyrhythm is something that kind of goes like this, where you're multitasking, but it's one of these things. So this is the easiest way I could explain it, and I'll show you right now. I'll just unpause it right here. So essentially they're doing a constant motion while they're doing that neck thing and the hand thing at the same time. Yeah. So that's what I like to call it, or that's what we call polyrhythms. And then there's a bunch of combos like that happen throughout like a bunch of choreo. Again, still a bunch of original choreo with minimal effects. Love this part. They have a good contrast of giving us choreo and effects. So with that walking part where they were actually hitting all the claps in the back, and then they were also hitting the voice of TAEMIN with that elbow move. So it's a really good way to help us even hear the song and hear how they want us to hear it and how they heard the song. And so with the effects, when they were doing they were walking to the side, you can hear that they're actually hitting the claps in the song. And when they do the elbow move, it's actually hitting with TAEMIN's voice. I'm going to go back to show you guys. See how they're walking? You can hear the clapping? TAEMIN's voice. And so I think a lot of people won't catch this, but I think TAEMIN goes "ee-yo." So you'll see that they try to match the way that TAEMIN sings that by speeding up and slowing down in a certain movement. And I'm gonna just put it on the screen and I'll try to point it out for you guys too. So here. Yeah, that part. I feel like a lot of people won't catch that. And so in this section, everyone's gonna go ahead and do original choreo. It's really strong and footwork heavy. And I think what they want us to feel from this section is that they want to do this effortlessly. Here's the polyrhythm. You see how a lot of them, or pretty much all of them, are not struggling? That's what they want us to see. Especially with TAEMIN. They got a lot of strength in their arms, and they do a really good job of hitting a lot of the moves very sharp when it needs to be. Great effect right here where he's going to go and walk down the aisle, and the dancers are just going to go ahead and create these poses as he walks down. So he's essentially activating them as he walks through the aisle. Love that. And there's going to be a catch-up effect here with all the dancers to do this groove. Great way to expand everybody out of the columns. So right here, that first move where he kind of like drags it out to hit the bass drop. Oh, that's so good. It's like it shows patience. So what I mean by patience is that sometimes a lot of dancers will hit too early in terms of musicality. In this, where he drags the arm and hits on the bass drop, you have to be really patient with that because you have to wait for the bass drop. You can't be early. Like you can hear that, right? And I love how they're hitting the basses in the songs too, the double basses. This footwork combo, I love how it was a common thing throughout the entire dance practice. And this hip move, it's been there throughout the entire practice as well. Love how, again, they're playing around with effects. That was crazy. So I'm gonna go and replay that last part. I'm gonna replay that last part with the mouth section. So we're hearing the mouth, right? Or like they do this kind of thing to essentially have us hear that part of the song. But this time at the very ending, instead of doing that move, the staging and the formations, the blocking in this case, is now changed to something what they kind of did something similar to in the intro. So rather than doing choreo, again, TAEMIN is the one activating the dancers to do these effects. It's a great way to end it, by the way. It's a great way to end it. Little ripple effect, another kind of like controlling them. Love that. Again, I'm gonna just play it once more, just so y'all can see what I mean. And this is a good way to highlight TAEMIN, and also a great way to utilize your dancers. Damn, man, this practice was so good. Breaking down this dance practice was honestly really fun because, again, it was more like a good balance of having effects in the beginning and then having a bunch of the dancers do the original choreo along with TAEMIN, and then switch it up again with the effects at the end. And a lot of the choreo in this actual dance is very sharp and also focused on textures. But at the same time, they were trying to hit the way TAEMIN was singing, and I love how they were actually slowing down certain parts of the dance and then speeding it up again. I'll be breaking down more dance practices from TAEMIN because, dude, this is crazy. He's so good. Other than that, if y'all love TAEMIN, go ahead and subscribe. Peace.